Boom, 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 boom. All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. I would say another Friday, but it's Thursday because I have plans tomorrow. So, yeah, Thursdays with Frank instead of Fridays with Frank. Quick sip. So, there. Sorry. As I said, it's Thursdays with Frank, even though it's called Fridays with Frank. But yeah, I have a wedding to attend to tomorrow, so I could not combine those two. uh, at least not in the state I will be in, considering it will be a bit of a celebration. But that being said, I think enough has happened so far this week that there is plenty to talk about today. I think, well, I won't say, a lot did happen, but I suppose that was kind of last weekend, with the whole Iran situation. Obviously, NATO, NATO coming together, Donald Trump liking the Netherlands. So I'm not sure if you saw the fragment from his last presidency where he said America first, and a Dutch comedian made the famous quote, America first, Netherlands second. So maybe something, maybe that'll hold true and we can keep that up. Yeah, let me grab my chart in the meantime. There we go. So yeah, for those of you that don't know yet, I've also made a Twitter page. I basically try to screen crypto news or important news which I think will affect markets, or I think are just a good read for everyone, and I try to share and retweet those. And last night I came across this one, or this morning. The biggest mistake in crypto is people grinding their asses off in the trenches every day, 20-hour shifts, falling asleep at computers or at the chart while watching a trade, trying to micromanage their trade into basically trying to push candles to hit your stop loss, and eventually you lose and you start overtrading. And yeah, as this guy is saying, locked in away from family, then if they make it, and that's a big if, they blow it all. And I mean, this happens all the time, and people start relying on income, active income, as this guy is calling it, and that active income is finite. And I 100%, 1,000% agree with this. You end up reliant on the amount of money you make from trading, and you start forcing trades, you start over leveraging, you start pushing for trades, and when eventually you're going to hit a month where you're not going to make your income, you're not going to make the money you need, and that's when it gets risky. That's when it gets super risky, when you start forcing trades, you start losing money, then you start over leveraging to make back that money, and then yeah, you lose. You end up losing, and you lose big time, and it happens fast, and it wrecks people. I mean, it wipes accounts, it bankrupts people. Now, here's my philosophy is the exact same as this guy. I'll zoom in a little bit. The money you make from trading, the money I make from trading, the money I make from investing, I reinvest. I try to put as much of it away as possible, alongside my monthly income, both my daily job, my side hustles, extra income I make incidentally. I try to put as much of it away as possible. Obviously, I still go on vacations, and you have fun, but you never spend everything, or at least you should try never to spend everything. Yes, there's room for fun, but there should be room for savings. And those savings, they eventually, if you reinvest it, they start creating passive income. And I think we all know the quote passive income. We all want it. We all dream of it. But I think it takes a structured approach. Like every month, like I've made no secret about this. Every month, I automatically buy. I deposit money. I should say better. It's a better form. I deposit money both in my stock accounts and in my crypto accounts. I don't immediately buy because I always try to time a little dip, or I put some limit orders on a set amount of money, or I use BitUnix to use options trading, so that if it doesn't hit on the price I want, I still get a small premium, a small interest paid over it for posting that trade. But that way you keep that value, you keep those assets, and you get to create more money out of it. The money works for you, and that money you can spend. So let's say you do have a considerable amount set aside. The money that comes out of it, that amount of money, you can use on more volatile bets. You can use that to day trade. You can use that to increase the pile you already have. I just thought that was an important quote. I came across it. I shared it on my Twitter page. I think this is rules to live by in the crypto space. Obviously, everybody has a different approach, and to each his own. I agree on that. But Lewis, is that Lewis? Ah. Chris. Hey. It's a bit hot in here, so I am drinking a lot. It's cooled down a little bit. Yeah. That's why I was wondering why you called me Lewis, but I figured maybe Lewis is in here. But as I said on my Twitter page, I scour the internet for basically Bitcoin news, crypto news I find interesting. I thought this was important as well. White House official says Bitcoin is digital gold, and it's in the United States' best interest to accumulate as much BTC as we can possibly get. Also, something I agree 100% with. I try to get as much Bitcoin as I can get. It's related to my long-term plan, my DCA plan. Bitcoin definitely is one I buy, but I'll get into the altcoins in a little bit. I think altcoins definitely have a place in this as well. And I think most of the news we get are already gearing towards a similar approach as to Bitcoin. Bitcoin being gold, I think Ethereum will be digital silver in comparison to that. And the Binance founder CZ says, current American dream is to own a home. The future American dream will be to own 0.1 Bitcoin, which will be more than the value of a house in the US. I think quotes like this, it always seems a little bit loofy, but I think they're right. I think on the long term, this will definitely become true, if not already. I mean, it's already 10K. I think in the very near future, it could be a lot more than that. When going to CoinMarketCap right now, I mean, it's not really positive. Like, we keep hovering around the same market cap, like the 3.3. I think that's mainly because Bitcoin is being bought en masse, but it's being bought off market. So a lot of these are like OTC deals, over-the-counter deals, peer-to-peer deals, and that's outside of the market. So we don't see those massive buys, those massive movements reflected in the market prices. We don't see it on the candles. An important side note to that, though, is that the OTC supplies are starting to dry up more and more as more and more companies are massively buying Bitcoin. Like, if we look at the latest Bitcoin news, we see the US government has a Bitcoin accumulation plan, Metaplanet Bitcoin Holdings, Moscow trying to get Bitcoin, SAC seeks approval for the True Social ETF with also Ethereum, 75% Bitcoin, 25% Ethereum. I think it's very telling. This is specific Bitcoin news. I will open the Ethereum news in a little bit as well. But Cardone Capital, 100 million Bitcoin. Like, all these companies are trying to amass as much Bitcoin as possible. And the most basic investment strategy is follow the money, follow the bigger players, and they're all trying to get Bitcoin, all of them. There are very few sellers currently, or at least big sellers in Bitcoin, apart from people or companies trying to take some profits along the way, trying to buy back cheaper. Everyone is trying to accumulate Bitcoin. Nobody is dumping it. I also think now we're seeing 100K Bitcoin. I think it'll be a very long time if at all we see Bitcoin back at these prices. And people were saying the same thing at 50K, 70K, even at 16K. People were saying this is the absolute top. But if we look at the total crypto market cap, if we look at the market cap of Bitcoin only being 2 billion, basically all other financial markets, even gold, everything is massively bigger than the total crypto market cap, but also the total Bitcoin market cap. So in that regard, I think it'll be very interesting to see, and I'm 100% bullish on Bitcoin on that regard. But we're seeing the same news, sort of the same news on Ethereum. Obviously, it's still smaller scale, but we see BlackRock buying 84% more Ethereum amid 7% dip. I mean, these messages are very telling. An early investor, $620 of ETH into 5.13 million. Obviously, he got in quite early, but Ethereum treasury strategy, 400 million crypto buy could launch your free Ethereum breakout incoming. Ethereum shoots up. Ethereum to $3,000. BlackRock sold Bitcoin and bought Ethereum. JP Morgan, all right, they're bearish. I suppose they're bearish, but all in all, we're seeing the same ETFs. We're seeing same treasury movements, and yes, it's smaller scale than Bitcoin, but it's still following the same structure, as well as Solana is struggling, but Solana is also in the U.S. asset reserve list. Like I don't think this is things we should take very lightly. I mean, a few years ago, this was completely unheard of. Crypto was a total scam. It was going away. It was going to zero. And the sentiment has completely changed. The most recent chases are coming from the Trump administration, I admit. But even before that, we saw smaller countries adopting it. And now even the EU is talking about building a crypto treasury, a crypto backup treasury. Sorry, a little bit of water along the way. That being said, I think there's a little bit of bearish news, though. I think the altcoins are not completely done bleeding yet. I think the SEC, I mean, Ripple's been involved with this lawsuit for so long. I think it has massively tampered with it. It has massively drawn it back. And even in spite of that, XRP has grown massively the last few months, year. And I think XRP is going to do very well as well. But XRP basically has the same news about it. There's the same adoption, the same massive adoption with these bigger companies as well. I think all in all, that will continue to push the narrative for altcoins as well. And as Solana does this, as Ethereum does this, as XRP does this, possibly maybe BNB, alongside all the stable coins which are starting to appear, or even real world asset backed coins, as opposed to the basic stable coins, like JP Morgan launching their own version, a better version of a stable coin, what they were saying. But I think all in all, it all enables more money to flow into crypto. Yes, they're buying off books, but ETFs eventually will start buying on books, because supplies will start running low. Supplies will become more and more scarce. Eventually, they're going to run out of supplies, and it's going to push prices to absolutely bigger levels. And I think it'll be a very, very interesting time to be in. And I think that right now is the time to be buying. And I personally am buying. And like, will the US government start buying Ripple XRP for its reserve? Well, Shiba Inu is a bit more meme-ish for me than I like, but 50,000 profit on 1,000 XRP by year. And I think this is true for all altcoin. Basically, I think all the altcoins are starting. I think an altcoin market, it's bound to happen. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Obviously, I could be wrong on that, but I think the altcoins have been bled quite dry because all the attention, all the market volume has shifted completely to Bitcoin. While I don't think that's bad, I do think the altcoins eventually, as the adoption comes to these altcoin projects as well, I think volume will start to shift, and I also think it'll push more and more new money into crypto, which is what we want to see. We want to see that total market cap, the 3.2, that 3.3 trillion dollar market cap. Like, we need to surpass 4, 5, 6 trillion dollars. That's when we will see massive price increases. And with the current market caps of all these tokens, I think it's very, very well possible. Like, a lot of these have already reached much bigger highs in the past. And I think Sui, with an $8 billion market cap, or $8 billion market cap, has much more room to grow. The same goes for AVAX, which has been higher in the past, of course. Or Caspa, which is down on 41 currently, a $2 billion market cap. Like, this could easily do a 10x if it goes to that $20 billion market cap. But I think it'll require a lot of new funds, as I said. But with all this news, like, if all these bigger parties, they can't all be wrong. They cannot all be wrong. And I think they dictate the market. These bigger companies dictate the markets. And if they're putting long-term plans into Bitcoin, in crypto in general, why shouldn't we? I mean, we 100% should do this. And with the news, hey, I'm good. How are you? My weekend just began, or basically after this stream, my weekend began. So, yeah, I'm good. But I think I shared it in my, Bitcoin has been recognized as a reserve asset by the U.S. housing system. So now you won't even have to sell your Bitcoin in order to use it as a deposit, or basically as a note of, I don't know what's the exact English word for it, but as a proof of assets, basically. So you can hold Bitcoin and use it to get a mortgage. You can loan against that Bitcoin, which I think is an absolute game changer. I mean, selling Bitcoin to buy a house would 100% be a legitimate reason. But if you don't have to, you get to hold it and you get to buy a house. I mean, I think that's a very, very good development, especially for, let's say, real estate companies or other companies trying to use it as collateral. So I was just gonna grab the chart. Let's get to that Bitcoin chart. So I have had this open for, well, basically weeks. And it looks like we did start to form a little downtrend. So if we do close in the red today and we start going back down, if we open the Bollinger Bands, I mean, we could go to 104. We could go a little lower, even maybe even back to 100. I do think it's very heavily reliant on US market news. I think you can say a lot of things about Trump, but he's influential to say the least, influential to say the least. And I think his quotes, his actions are very heavily manipulating the market, basically. With, let's say, everything goes smooth for the next few days, I don't think there's also a lot of euphoria right now. So Yeah, with some people taking profits, possibly a lot of shorts coming in, I think we could see prices go back to 104. Um, I don't care if it does. If it does, I'll probably buy a little bit more Bitcoin. If we go back to around the 100 area, I'm definitely buying more Bitcoin. But for now, we are seeing a lot of cool down on buying pressure, or a lot. At least we're seeing stagnation in buying pressure. So at least a small correction, I see it happening. I think the 104 is not too far off. I think it's very, very possible. I think it'd be a good idea to put some limit orders in actually at that price, and basically put another few on 101, 100. I think around here and around here could be very good buying opportunities. So this was a prediction from a few weeks back that if we broke this level, we would possibly retest it, go up. But yeah, we rejected at that level, at that exact price. Yeah, the same thing happened here. We caught that level. Yes, it went a bit below it, but we broke up. And obviously, this was also heavily reliant on Trump, on U.S. news. What I do find very interesting, though, is that Bitcoin is starting to behave more and more like its own asset. It's not that reliant on the stock market, U.S. stock market anymore. While in the past, if like the S&P corrected, Bitcoin would follow right along, and it's not done that for the past few months to maybe a year. And we're starting to see a similar pattern to gold on Bitcoin. And yeah, as I started the stream, Bitcoin being called digital gold, I think it'll keep that characteristic for a very long time, at least. And I think as the US dollar starts to devaluate, or if it devaluates more than it already has, I think it's sparking people to trying to find ways to protect their assets. And yeah, while the dollar devaluated close to 14% up to against the euro, that is, I think it's a solid buy. I think Bitcoin it makes even more sense to buy Bitcoin and gold, but Bitcoin is outperforming gold currently. So why not buy the better asset? I'm not saying it is the better asset, but it's better performing right now. So I think as I've said, I think Bitcoin, it has broken. It's broken the sentiment. Bitcoin is here to stay. Bitcoin is going to be adopted and is being adopted massively. I do think it won't be a straight shot up. We will see crashes along the way. We will see dips along the way, but it's not negative to have those. We want that. We want those dips to be able to buy back cheaper. As much as we want the pumps to take some profits, we want opportunities to buy cheaper along the way. And all that does is push or at least my agenda. It pushes my agenda. It pushes it up. So I get more profits in the shorter term to basically to get to my retirement stage earlier. Not that I want to retire, but we all want the financial free, the FIRE movement, etc., etc. We want to be able to retire while basically having a hobby. Well, one of my hobbies is this. I still would like a job just to keep your mind sharp, to keep that 9 to 5 sort of mentality, but also to get me out of bed and get me going every day. But yeah, for now, I think Bitcoin is a little overbought. It was oversold, but I think it's overbought right now. Even though the Bollinger Band is still up here, so I don't know. We could see a little bit more, but it seems to be correcting itself right now. And I don't know, maybe if we see, really clean that up a little bit. So right, maybe something more like that, a little bit more compression before we see a breakout either up, or we see a further correction down to that 100. That's what I'm expecting. And yes, I know Yes, I know I'm showing both up and down, but the truth is nobody knows exactly what will happen. With the current world situation, really, it's like a powder keg. Like, this has to happen in order to influence markets. Like, if Iran starts shooting again tonight, we will see a crash. I 100% think that. If Israel decides to launch another ballistic missile on Iran, I think the same thing will happen. I think markets will cool down. People will become uncertain. And you can see we're in the smack dab middle of the fear and greed index. So not just me, I think probably every trader right now worldwide is uncertain. I mean, long term, we're all positive. Long term, we're all expecting Bitcoin to go up. But right now, we're in exact neutral territory. But I will say, stick to your plan. We go into fear, we start buying. We go into greed, we start selling. And I never sell everything, but I take profits. I take small amounts of profit. Let's say I bought Bitcoin at 99K. So I'll grab my. Oh crap, that's the wrong chart. I'll grab my chart. I bought Bitcoin roughly at this area. 99K is where I put my limit order. It was on a different exchange, but one that doesn't have leverage. So I bought my spot buy at 99K. I took some profits at roughly 107. Let's say I put in $100. I took out, I don't know, something like $40. And I left the 60 in with the added profit. So I take small amounts of profits, small amounts of money I take out in order to keep more cash on the side. And then with my monthly DCA add-ons, I have even more cash on the side. And let's say we do see a crash down or a correction down and we reach that 100K again, I buy a little bit more. And I do the exact same thing on altcoins. I do the exact same thing on Ethereum. I do that on Solana. I do that on AVAX. The only difference is if we look at the monthly. So Kaspa, 30%. Kaspa is one of my long-term holds. 30% drop, I buy. If I see I do monthly buys on these things. If I see a 30% drop on an asset I hold, I add onto it. Virtual, 44%. I added more to virtual as well. It's a smaller position of mine, so I added comparatively less than I did into Kaspa, but I still added more. I did the same thing with AVAX. I did the same thing with Solana. I did the same thing with Ethereum. And I even did that with Bitcoin. But Bitcoin being the bigger asset and one of my bigger holds, I bought comparatively more to that. But I did take out comparatively more as well. I just used the $100 as a bit of an example percentage-wise how I go about that. ICP coin can reach $50 or more. ICP, that's an old one. I have not looked at ICP for quite a while. Internet computer. So I've not bought this token. I do not know exactly about this token. Hey, that's weird. I do not know exactly about this token. I know it's probably cloud computing, AI, etc., basically a tech. Let's grab my calculator real quick. So, for $50 or more. So basically a 10x. It's possible, market cap wise. Fundamentally, it is possible. And now, how do I know this? If you look at the market cap, $2.52 billion. If we go back to market cap.com, we see $300 billion, 160, 125, 91, 75, 60, 25, 23. So ICP would need to reach the market cap of Tron in order to be basically 50, give or take $50 a coin at the current supply. So unless there's more coins being released, it'll need more. If there are coins being burned, it'll need less. It will need less of a market cap because the value of your current tokens will start to go up. Now, can it do that? Yes, I think it can. Will it reach that? I think that's very debatable. Not all projects reach that high. I think it will require an altcoin season and definitely more interest in the altcoins overall, which I do think will come, but I think it's very hard to predict. I've chosen an approach to focus more on networks than on tokens themselves or on products on networks themselves. So that's why I hold Sui and Kaspa. Also why I hold AVAX. I think AVAX has a very good three-pronged blockchain approach. Untracked. That's probably because they haven't. Well, let's grab it real quick again. But that's probably because they haven't reported their supply. So this is so the total supply is currently all self-reported supply, self-reported market cap. So I think these numbers are legit. In token unlocked, it show half is untracked. All right. So I think that's a bit weird because total supply and circulating supply is open. I think that probably means that they have a bunch of it staked, locked staking, but still available. So it's not being generated anymore, and it's more tokens. All the tokens have been distributed, but they have been locked away. I think that's pretty much how you need to interpret that. So the supply is available, so the supply itself will not impact the current price anymore. That being said, they're not all unlocked. So the people that get those unlocked tokens can still dump that token price in the future. So it could spark a sell-off. A lot of people will be holding, some people will be selling. I think that's all in the game. I think that's just how crypto goes. Damn, it did have a massive drop-off. As I said, I don't really know too much about this. We can see that they have token unlock progress. Yeah. So there is still quite a bit locked. The best coin to buy in a crash. So I cannot tell you directly because that would be financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy just like you trying to make money online. I'm just doing the exact same thing you guys are. Only difference is I've been doing it for longer, I suppose. So what I will do, I will show you how I look for altcoins to buy and how I decided which altcoins are in my DCA portfolio. So I have 10, maybe 15. I have top 5, and then I have, let's say, 5 riskier ones, and then I have 5 long shots, 5 YOLO bets, 5 below, let's say, roughly $100 million market cap or a little higher or somewhere around that area. But mainly for my main crypto holdings, the top 10, I always scroll down this chart and basically either very close to $2 billion or above $2 billion market caps. When I started in Kaspa, it was above $2 billion, but 1.972. Basically, that's $2 billion market cap. So a $2 billion market cap, I think, is the golden standard. It has reached that price. It's holding steady. It has been at that price for quite a while already. And I think as it keeps doing that, as it keeps that level, it's building. Like the project itself has active developers. They're trying to develop products. They're trying to attract investors. They're trying to grow. So this, I see it as a company which is working. If I buy this, a part of this company is working for me, and all of the people involved in this benefit if that price goes up. So for this reason, I bought Caspa. So I hold Caspa, and ICP fits that criteria as well. Only I did not buy that one because I also believe in you should not buy every token, because you lose track of it and you get diluted so much that you end up making stupid decisions. So it could be a very good buy. I don't hold it, but doesn't mean it's not a good project. It could be very good. I think the chart initially looks worse though, but apart from that, it could be good. It is in my golden zone. But if I look at the chart, I would be less confident about owning that one. That being said, I actually hold quite a bit of PiCoin, but that is just coincidence because I got them for free. I had that mining app on my phone for ages, but yeah, I hold that as well. I have not sold a single one of it. I'm just holding it forever to see if it does something. AVAX is one of the projects I bought at a $2 billion market cap when I started, and maybe even below that. But I've held AVAX for quite a long time, held it for quite a long time. I'm still actively buying AVAX because I think the technology behind it is very good. It had a small meme coin season, but Solana still ended up stealing the show around that time. Still believe in the project. It is more aimed at gamifying. So I don't really like gamified projects because they're all inflationary. But I think as it develops, I think it's a good, solid project. As I said, I look at most of the network coins. Sui, I also bought at a $2 billion market cap. It was like second place to Caspa at that point in time. So is it a good buy? Will this do another 10x? I don't know, but I know the company is solid. I know the technology is solid. I know it's being actively traded. It has a high 24-hour volume. I think it has staying power in the future. I think these are good projects. It's how I look at them. So Solana would actually be the least favorable project of it because the market cap is already so big. So the risk to reward ratio, it's very likely to go down instead of up. So it's very likely to go back to, I don't know, like $50 billion market cap, as opposed to it doubling to $124 billion market cap. So Solana would actually be a lesser buy, a less profitable buy, therefore a more riskier buy. But I've held Solana for quite a long time. I think this is, considering it has the same news as Bitcoin and Ethereum regarding ETFs and bigger adoption, I think Solana will be a very good future buy. So that's why I already hold it. XRP, I used to hold it. I sold it. I regret selling it, but I think it's too high now for me to get into it. I think I'll pass on XRP, so I'm not buying it again. That being said, these are most of my $2 billion plus buys. I do hold quite a bit of them at a lower market cap. So $1 billion or several $100 million, $100 million, $300 million. You take more risk on those lower buys. The only advice I can give on that is do your research on it. Look at that project. Maybe ask some difficult questions in Telegram chats or Discord chats. And if you get deleted, or if they blame you or start calling you a fudder, etc., just don't buy it. I think a token warrants faith, and if you lose faith in the project, well, your uncle got in very early. I sadly was not able to buy Solana at that price. But yeah, sometimes you get lucky. I think, but I don't know why he bought it. But I think if you go back in time and you look at Solana at that time, I think they were actively developing. I think they had an active team. I think they had good tech, good website, good documentation. I mean, it would make sense to buy it. And I wish I know. I wish that I know now that I have the knowledge from now back then. I would already be retired if I had the same knowledge I have now. If I had the same view on tokens, the same, I don't know, even the basic knowledge of how wallets work. All stuff I did not know at the time. It's also what got me into doing this YouTube channel and starting the Twitter page and trying to talk to people, try to educate them. Because I think every person on the planet should have a fair shot at getting in early on this stuff, getting educated on this stuff, getting accustomed to investing in general. I think it's very important for people to do this. And even as we help other people get into crypto, I mean, we want this total market cap number. We want this market cap number to go up. In order to do that, we need more retail people in crypto as well. We need more of the population. I think it's guesstimated that only like 2 or 3% of the total world's population is in crypto. And we need that number up massively, because even if consumer demand rises, more and more companies will start to adopt crypto as well, because we, the customers, dictate in the end. I personally think Sui has a good future. I think it's comparative to Solana, and I think it could be better. That also depends on the end users. So it will be, eventually it will be reliant on people actually buying the token. But I think the massive run up it has been very good. I already made quite a bit of money on Sui. As I said, it's almost 9. Let's call it 8. I have more than a 4x on Sui already. I think market cap wise, it could do 5x, 6x more, even at the current market cap levels. As I said, I do think we need an alt season though. We need more market. We need a bigger altcoin market. Right now, I mean, look at the volume of Bitcoin, even on a slow day like today. And today is a slow day, only a 0.3%. It's still traded $43 billion within the last 24 hours. And yesterday was a slow day as well. So I think that, I think it speaks for itself. Like, we need volumes like this. We need to see it shift further down. And on the point of Ethereum, I think Ethereum have that volume. I think Ethereum is definitely as traditional though. Bitcoin started pumping, then Ethereum started pumping, then altcoins started pumping, and then eventually the meme coins and the shit coins. So I think the more movement we're starting to see on Ethereum is telling. I think it's a clear sign of more coming. All right, so I have been rambling for almost 45 minutes. If anyone has a question, feel free to type it now. I'll answer the last few questions. Other than that, I'm just going to close out with this again. Oh, by the way, if you joined later, I have a Twitter page. I'm trying to keep it up to date every day with the latest crypto news, the latest important stuff. It's at Investing Frankly without the A, so Investing Frankly. But yeah, I try to share as much news as I can. As I said, the American dream of owning 0.1 BTC, White House officials saying Bitcoin is digital gold, etc., etc. But also quotes like this. And I keep telling people this, like, you don't have to trade every day. If you start forcing yourself to trade every day, you're going to force a bad trade on yourself. You're going to lose money, and it could end up avalanching. So, yeah, I'll close out with this. Go visit my Twitter page, and What I actually let's just copy paste that bad boy. So I just posted it in the chat. Sorry, but read this to yourself, and I'm 100% sure a lot of you will recognize yourself in it. And yeah, this used to be me. I was doing this. I was using not yet. I want to do it, but I actually want to do it when I reach 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I'm not sure how or why or what yet, because honestly, I'm not making that much money of all of this. I'm doing this as a hobby, honestly. But yeah, if you want to help me with this, use my affiliate links in my YouTube from my YouTube channel, and yeah, like me on YouTube, like me and subscribe to me on YouTube, and also yeah, follow my Twitter page. Help me grow, and I'll help you guys as much as I can. But I think 500 YouTube subscribers is a very fun. I'll do a special stream about it, and I'll try to do a giveaway. I'm not sure what yet, but I'll try to make it something fun. But yeah, as I said, I'm gonna close out with this quote: Don't stare at the screen for 20 hours. You need to. I think the mind is the most important tool of the human. A clean mind, a clear mind is a good mind, and you won't achieve that by staring at charts all day. That's why I do very hands-off investing as opposed to trading, and try to just keep buying. All right, I'm gonna close out with that. Thank you all for watching. I will be back here again next week on Thursday. And I'll be live in the Discord on Wednesday. Next week, I'm leaving to Glasgow for a weekend on Friday. So that's why also on Thursday next week. Yeah, and other than that, all I can say is have a great weekend. And yeah, take care, everyone. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.